Hello you demons and happy Friday. Now I hope you all had a great week because today we're going to be diving into the eerie dark secrets surrounding Alaska. Also stay tuned till the end to hear a terrifying story about a very specific town in Alaska. Starting in 1988, when they finally started to keep track of all the different disappearances, they discovered that 5 out of 1,000 people would go missing, even more so in this region called the Alaskan Triangle. Now, with such a densely packed forest and rigorous terrain, you can only imagine how easy it is to get lost in here. But people aren't the only things that go missing in this forest. Entire planes have been known to go missing as well. Even stranger, these disappearances don't even leave enough evidence for the military or local natives to find at all. Light was shed on these mysterious disappearances after the politicians Nick Betch and Hale Briggs had gone missing. I know, after the two politicians it happens, but whatever, at least it got done. Nevertheless, it doesn't make the strange events of this case any less scary. On October 16, 1972, their private plane disappeared between Anchorage and Juneau. 50 civilian planes, 40 military aircraft, and dozens of boats searched 32,000 square miles without finding a single remnant of a crash or its remains. After nearly 40 days, the search was called off and till this day remains a mystery. While 2 people in a single private plane can seem small in comparison to the great unknown of Alaska, 44 people in a C-54 Skymaster should not be so hard to miss, right? In 1950, a cargo plane carrying 44 people lost communication shortly after takeoff and seemed to disappear into thin air. Now, this plane wasn't just any small private plane. It was 93 feet long with a wingspan of 117 feet. Along with that, its trained military personnel and the civilians on board are no small thing to lose in Alaska's great unknown. More than 75 US and Canadian aircraft as well as 7,000 people searched for the plane and its passengers for an entire month. However, this case soon faded into obscurity after a downed B-36 bomber carrying a nuke without its radioactive core went down in the Alaskan Gulf. Now, I'm glad they were at least able to find this nuke. I will say a majority of these Alaskan Triangle disappearances follow an unfortunate pattern of information, a very brief description of the individual followed by they were never found. Sadly, this usually creates about only 3 sentences of information, such as the case of Leonard Lane. He was a 73-year-old World War II veteran who had gone hiking in the Alaskan wilderness. Those who saw him before his disappearance said that he was injured and limping. After missing for about 2 years, he was unfortunately declared dead, and of course with no evidence being found. However, I do want to bring attention to the fact that there are a few major factors that can explain a majority, but not all, of these disappearances. A major obvious issue that people must consider is the exposure that Alaska's harsh conditions create. With 160 centimeters of snowfall each year, things tend to get buried in hours. Not to mention the pervasive scavengers of over 30,000 grizzlies along with polar bears and black bears. In the Alaskan wilderness, everything that can be eaten will be eaten. To add to this adverse environment, crevices are known to take people in some of Alaska's 50,000 glaciers, one of the most infamous being Denali, which still holds 35 bodies that remain there today. From 1903 to 2006 alone, 98 climbers have lost their lives on that peak. To add a period to these already terrible conditions, the third most common death in Alaska is drowning in cold lakes that absorb your body heat 25 times faster than the already frigid cold air. With 3 million lakes and 3,000 rivers, it wouldn't be unfounded to take these factors into heavy consideration. If you guys have liked this video so far, it would make me so incredibly happy if you were to hit that like button down below. And also, don't forget to hit that bell to be reminded when I post more spooky content like this. Also, you know how they say sharing is caring? Well, the same goes for nightmares. If you guys want to terrify your grandmother, child, father, I don't care. I will send them the videos that I make, and hopefully, it'll put a little fear in their life. And, as Scarecrow says, what's life without a little fear, Okay, but enough about that. Congratulations, you have unfortunately made it to the story about that one specific town in Alaska that has terrified generations. Portlock, Alaska is not a name that would normally strike fear into the heart of an individual, but I'm here to tell you why it should. Our dark history of this town begins in 1931 with the grisly murder of a logger. He was seemingly struck over the head with a piece of logging equipment too heavy for any one human to wield. Now, before you say it fell on him or it was hoisted in the air and accidentally hit him, he was reportedly found 10 feet away from the equipment that had killed him. Both natives and loggers alike reported of a Yeti or Bigfoot seen around in the area and terrorizing people. A man by the name of Albert Pecta was said to have encountered this beast and was fatally hit in the chest by it.
Devastation.
Shortly before his passing, he was able to share his story. Both prospectors and hunters would commonly go missing in that area, only to be reportedly found near a creek as if they had been ripped apart. It got so bad that even a canned food company went to the extreme of posting armed guards for the people's safety. However, this still wasn't enough, and the people of Portlock eventually abandoned it, the last of them being a postmaster in 1950. Although there is one story of an unlucky fisherman who had to take refuge in Portlock from a storm. In 1970, he had reported that a creature standing on two legs barged through his camp and terrorized everyone. Maybe some paranormal mysteries are just better left alone. Well, hopefully I didn't ruin any travel plans to go into Alaska, but on that note, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like down there below if you did, and don't forget to comment if you had any stories about Alaska that you may have heard that I didn't mention, or any other mysterious disappearances. And don't forget to subscribe for more spooky content like this, of course. And as always, most importantly, stay spooky. Bye-bye. I'll scare your baby to sleep. You hear? With such dense forest and rigorous terrain, you can only imagine how easy it is to get lost. But the thing is, not only people go lost, but airplane go lost too, real quick. If you've been enjoying, I can't talk.